recording. So after the recording ends, I believe tomorrow, there should be a video for this. So that will be available on the Learning Commons website. And I think you guys should get that as an email as well. So no for that. Anyways. So we are recording. Let's go. Okay. Let's start off with this one. Where would be the recording? On the Learning Commons website, if you go to one sec. I feel like we gotta show these people. Let me show you guys where it's gonna be. It's important. So you go to the Learning Commons website. Go to resources. Damn it. Yeah, so you should be able to see, right? So you go to Learning Commons website, go to resources, scroll down, you'll see CSCI resources. You'll just click on the class that you are. So we did 111, 211, 212. If you click on 111, you will see that next to the corresponding, what's it called? Session. Yeah, I can't speak today. It's like right here. You will see a recording. It says upcoming for now, but you'll see the recording of it. So for anyone who's wondering where that recording will be, right here. No problem, no problem. So let's get cracking at this chat. Okie dokie dokes. All right, write a complete C++ program that asks the user for a number n and prints a picture showing a triangle that points to the right that has 2n minus 1 rows and n columns. For example, if n equals 4, the program would print this. Let's see. Okay, so let's get started. There you go. So right at the bat, if you want to get partial credit, just like include IO stream, get the basic stuff over with, because you don't want to waste too much time trying to figure out what to do to make the shape. Because for these exams, what you want to do is first get as much partial credit as possible, and the rest you'll fill in. So using namespace standard into main, and also a bit of a what is this? I think Professor Akinlar uses printf. I don't use printf. I use cout. Does he use cout? Does he? I don't know. I've seen a couple of his examples where he uses printfs. If he uses cout, then that's perfectly fine. Because okay, then we're good. Okay, then we're good. My bad. My bad. My bad. I saw some examples where you use printf, and I'm like, I have no idea what to use that for. But all right, if you use cout, we're good. So let's first prompt the user. No, god damn it! Why? There you go. Okay, so here we're not gonna check the input, so we'll just like this. So let's see out, enter a number n. This one should be pretty much review for you guys. C and n. Okay, and because we're not gonna check what n is, we'll just leave this as is. All right. And now this comes a for loop. So we got for int r is equal to 0. R is less than. It says here we have 2n minus 1 row, so we'll do that here. 2n minus 1, right? R plus plus. And we got inner for loop for int c is equal to 0. C is, I believe C goes up until, well, actually, let's find out the pattern now. So we have for loop for here. We'll have a, don't you have to do the parentheses 2 and, oh yeah, sorry. Like I said, I made a bunch of mistakes. Thanks for pointing that out. You don't need to put the parentheses per se. You don't need to put the parentheses. just leave it as this, but yeah, you need the star. Anyways, let's see the pattern. Okay, this is gonna be n is 4. In this situation, n is 4. So we got rows 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh God, I just sneezed. Okay, 5 and 6. Okay. So 2n times 1, 2n minus 1 is 7. Let's put that here. 2n minus 1 in this case is 7. So we're going to go up to from 0. This is 0, by the way. 0 through 7, 6. Okay. Okay. Now we got to print out the rows, not the rows, columns. So that's column 1, 0. That's column 1. That's column 2. That's column 3. Okay. Let's see. Let's see the pattern here. So we see here it prints at 0, 0. Okay. 0, 0, 1, 1. 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3. Okay, so we see that so the top part of the triangle, that's why I hate these type of questions, they're just so stupid. But we see that on the top portion of the triangle, so up to here, right? It prints out, so this is C, this is R. Whenever C is less than, this is going to be C is less than or equal to R, right? Then we print a star. Okay. And then that's for the top portion. For the bottom portion, less than or equal to R. We see here when it's 4, when R is 4, it prints out at 0, 1, 2. There's 5, prints out at 0, 1, 6. So let's fill in what we know so far. C goes up until n, so C is less than n, C plus plus. Okay, and right after the for loop, we're gonna have a C out and 9. Okay. You can't see the screen I'm sharing. That would have been useful to point out a couple minutes ago. You guys see the screen now, or? Yes, I should have asked that. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you for pointing that out. That would have been catastrophic. You can see it? Okay, good, good, good. Very good. Yes, that would have been very, very useful to point out a few minutes ago. But thank you, thank you. All right, thanks for the confirmation. But everyone see what I did so far? Does anyone have any questions about this portion so far? This is just like a basic layout of this question. Any questions about this? Any of this? Why does R and C equal 0? Because if you see here, could I have started? Yes, let's talk about it real quick. When it comes to the rows and numbers, you could start R from 0, right? But if you started from 0, see how this is. When n is 4, 2n minus 1 is 7. Are you going to email us your recording? I think the recording might be emailed, but I also just showed like a little earlier where the thing is going to be on the QC Learning Commons website. If you go there and you go under resources, CS, you'll see the recording next to this session. Okay, no problem. But if we start at 0, and remember, 2n minus 1 is 7. Just a for loop statement, can you expand again? Okay, we'll do. Well, we go up to 7. And here when we counted it 0, 1, 2, 3, up until 6, right? So if we start from 0, we go strictly less than 7, right, which is 6. if we started from 1, which would be 1 dot 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 7. All right, so let's put that in here. Because we start from 0, we go less than. If we started from 1, right, we have to go less than or equal to. Same thing for C, right? So you can start from either 0 or 1. I don't really think it matters as long as you get the correct shape in the end. And I think, yeah, for the second for loop, this is just for this. This is just for this portion, right? No, I do that. Never mind. That's just for this portion right here, the columns. Okay. So this is basically the entire format of the code. Now what we have to figure out is the if statement. If they equal 1, does 2n minus 1 equal 6? What does that mean? 2n minus 1 is based on the input. So input is 4. So 2n minus 1 is going to be 7. Right? Yeah. 2n minus 1 is 7. 2n minus 1 is 7. But if we start from 0, we go, well, okay. Okay, let's go over this again. How do we get to know about 2n minus 7 is 7? All right, let's go over this one more time. We see over here, right? N is some random input by a user, right? And he says here that it has 2n minus 1, that the triangle has 2n minus 1 rows and n columns. So he gives an example. If n equals 4, the program would print this. So here we're assuming, we're just using this as an example. When n equals 4, right, as an input, so the user inputs 4. So now what would 2n minus 1 be? That's 2 times 4 minus 1, which is 8 minus 1, which is 7. Okay? So now we have to count the rows. So that's where... No one's done here. You just sometimes it takes a little bit of a while to get the hang of the question. But this is where it depends on how you do it. If you start at 0, right? Like here, forget about the numbers here. Here we're just counting the rows. If you start at 0, you go 0, 1, 2, dot, dot, dot. I mean, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? And see here how our last row is 6? 6 is less than 7. Right? So if we were to generalize this for some n, if we started it at 0, we would go up r less than, strictly less than 2 times n minus 1. Same thing for C. All right, so if we started from 0, not 10, we started from 0 for C, 0, 1, 2, 3, n is 4, so it would be strictly less than 4. Right? Whereas if we started from 1, right, 1, 2, 3, dot, 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 up till 7, and same thing, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. We would have to, instead of less than, strictly less than, we would have to do less than or equal to. Okay? Does that make sense for everyone? Okie dokie. So now, this is pretty much it for the, this is not the answer to the code, obviously, but this is it for like the layout. So now what we have to do is we have to find out, let me erase some of this. We have to find out at what row and column points that we have to print out a star. All right, so it's going to be this. It's going to be like, oops. So we saw so far that if, let's label this, let's start from 0, let's start from 1. Why not? We start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, dot, 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 7. We saw that for the top portion, if the column number is less than or equal to the row number, then we print a star. Okay. However, that only works for the top portion because R goes from 1 to, let me actually put the numbers, 3, 4, 5. Is the exam going to be hard? That's a great question. I wish I could answer that right now. But let's go over the question first, and we'll give a general consensus on the exam. It shouldn't be bad. 111 should not be a tough. It shouldn't be a really hard exam. Yeah, it depends on you, but if you look at the rest of the question, this is not supposed to be a hard exam, right? Just basic programming. But we see for the top portion, let's try this in. When R is less than or equal to n, right? If R is less than or equal to n, and C is less than or equal to R, and also a bit of a note. You could answer these questions in multiple ways. The way I'm doing it doesn't necessarily mean it's the only correct way. As long as you do it and whatever you do prints the correct shape, you'll get full credit, right? C less than or equal to R, we see out a star. Okay. Otherwise, let's see. If R is greater than n, right? So over here's portion. If R is greater than n, then when do we print a star? Can I please re-explain this if statement? Sure. So look, we're only for this if statement, we're only looking at this top portion. Let me do it in a different color. That would help. You guys want orange? We'll do orange. Red, orange. That's orange. The hell? Okay, fine. Just for this top part. That's like, okay, fine, that's orange. We look at the numbers. Column 1, row 1, print a star. Column 2, row 2, print a star. Column 1, row 2, print a star. Right? Just you see the rest of the pattern? These are all stars. Right? If this is the case, we see it only prints a star if there's only this top part. If the row number 1, 2, 3, 4 is less than or equal to n is 4, right? The row number is less than or equal to n, and the column number is less than or equal to the row number, we print a star. Right? So in this case, let's say R is 3, right? Is 3 less than or equal to 4? Yes. We then check, okay, is the column number on, is that less than or equal to 3? 1, yes. 2, yes. 3, yes. 4, no. That's why the space here. Okay, does that make sense? Hopefully it does. I will take the silence as a yes. So now, this is the top portion. Which is a bit more confusing. We see R is okay. Thank you. Yeah, please, if it doesn't make sense, say it in the chat or like scream it out. I don't want to like go too far and people get lost. Ooh, in the waiting room. Mike, can you watch? You're watching the waiting room. Okay, you are watching the waiting room. Anyways, we see that when R is greater than 4. Okay, then when R is greater than 4, right? So R is 5. We want to print it 1, 2, 3. So when R is greater than n, all right? Now let's see this. Let's try adding them together. So we got R is 5, C is 1, so R plus C is going to be, in this case, it's going to be 6. So we print a star, okay. And, or actually, how about this? We don't even need to split it up into 2 parts. Because look here, guys and girls, and everyone else in the 1st century. If we add the row number and the column number, right, we'll always get, see, 2n minus 1 is 7, but 2n is 8, right? But when we always add the row number and the column number, we always end up with something, a number, so C plus R, that's less than or equal to 8. The only way we got an 8 is if R is 4 and C is 4. So that's this. Okay. So if anything, we don't even need this. It's extra. We'll just say this. If R plus C. Oh, sorry, never mind. We do need it. We need another statement. If R plus C, else if R plus C is less than or equal to 2n. And okay, I take it back. This is why I don't like these questions. They're very annoying. You don't even need to print shapes. It's like Google interviews. So weird. Shoot. If your professor sees this interview, I'm screwed. Anyways. For this second portion, right here, R is greater than 4. And then we see the pattern. When you add them, they have to be strictly less than or equal to 2n. All right. The only way we get that is if it's 5 plus. Who was that? Whoa, how'd you do that? Whoa. Primarily, yeah, and is that the one you wrote in the answer sheet? Yeah, like I said, you could do this in multiple ways. But this is how I'm thinking about it. Right? You can do this in multiple ways. And as long as you get the right answer, you're good. So this is the second condition. If R plus C, wait, let's do this. If R is greater than n, and R plus C is less than or equal to 2n, you see out the star as well. Otherwise, else see out the space. And then that's it. That's the program. 2n. Yes, thank you. Why do I keep making that mistake? It's just a new mistake. Does anyone have any questions about this? It's a bit of a mess, but me no likey these questions. Who keeps doing that? Anyways, be proud. Your curse is going to be in the recording cell, I guess. Does anyone have any questions about this? I feel like if you're confused, speak now. Because it would make sense if you're confused. If not, I am going to move on. Does anyone want to do any more shape questions, or should I like go on to loops and stuff? Let you take a pick? Sure. Go ahead. Okay, pick. Loops, loops, loops. Anyone else? Anyone else? Any questions? All good, all good. Other than Alex and Jamil, I'm saying your last name. I'm not going to put your first name, but okie dokie. We're going to go to loops. Well, actually, I think someone asked for output. You guys want to do output? When double X and you do C out. What is the output when double X equals 4.0 and you do C out X and line? I'm not sure if it's 4 or 4.0. It'll print out 4.0 because it's a double. Sure, we do output. But Monaco, for your question, it would print out 4.0 because it's a double. If you guys want to test it, actually, yeah, if you want, if anything, just test it on your computer just to see out 4. It should print out 4.0 because it's a double. Whenever it's a double, it'll always print out point something, even if it's like an integer. Like if it's like, just do an example. Even if you have like 13, if you set it equal to a double and print it out, this is always going to print out 13.0. This 0.0 is how the computer knows it's a double. Okay. That's that. What? So, does anyone have any question in particular that they want to do? Anything? If not, we'll just do like the first page. Can we do 099? What is 0999? No, not too far. Whoa, that was a good, really good. Is this 0999? 0099? Is it? Sure. Okay. What is the output of the following code at each position? int main P 31, Q is 23, R is 15, ABC, ABC. Okay. If A equals X, C out P. Okay, I'm losing. Mike, we could do equal in C++, right? You can't do that in
Yes,
Java.
yes, you can do it.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting mixed up between Java and C++, but okay. If A is equal to C, sorry, if A is equal to X, which it is, so A is ABC, C is X is ABC, C out P. So P is 31. We print out 31. Else, C out Q. Well, we see that A does equal, these are two are equal, right? So you print out P. We ignore the else. Okay, so far we have 31. And then we have the next line. So when you see end line, so right now the cursor is right here. Think about moving the cursor right here, right? Without this end line, this is like a kind of like a mistake that you guys might make. The next thing won't print here without the next end line. Without this end line, the next thing will start printing from here. Right, so if we didn't have this end line, and say I had like a C out like 5, something like that, that would print here. If I had this end line and then after it, well, you're not screwed. You just gotta like be careful when you read it. If I did have this end line and then after it, let me erase this. I had it, then it would print not there, it would print here. Okay, so that's just like a little note. Keep note of that. The end line basically moves the cursor to the next line. Okay, C out end line. Okay. If P is less than, yeah, he likes asking. He will always have an output question on his exam because he says he's just like easy. He says easy grading. Yeah, that's what he told me when I took him for 212 and 313. It's just easy grading. But anyways, if P is less than or equal to Q, let's check that. P is 31, Q is 23. So this is false. All right. And P is less than or equal to R. Well, that's not true either. 31 is not less than or equal to 15. C out A. Well, since these are both false, well, if one of them are false, we would have skipped this line. But because both of them are false, we definitely skip it. So we skip this line. So that's line B would print out nothing. So this is going to print out 31. This is going to print out nothing. You just leave this blank out. You can just write nothing to print. Something like that. And then next line. If A equals X, well, we just saw A, X are the same. So that checks out. Or the string A equals the string X. This is not true. A does not equal X. But the first one is. I mean, because this is an or, right? If one of these are true, the entire statement is true. Because one of these are true, we do R++. So R is now 16. Right? And whenever you do these questions, if it helps, always keep track of all the variables, where they are and where they change. Right? So on your test, like manually write out R+, because you see R++, cross out 15, write 16. It'll help. And then we see out R. R is now 16, it's going to print 16. Okay. Please, what are they called? Please stop me if you do have any questions. Wait, can you go over C again? Sure. All right, we'll see. Go over that again. Double line, okay. So let's have a little note here. Double and sign, that means, let's do statement A and B. This means A and B. So this is only true if A is true and B is false. I'm sorry, I can't speak. If A is true and B is true, they both must be true for this entire statement to be true. If one is false, the entire statement is true. I can't speak, I'm sorry. If one is false, the entire statement is false. Forgive me. However, for A or B, this is A or B, if at least one of these are true, then the entire statement is true. For this to be false, both A and B need to be false. Okay. So in this question right here, because it's or, we have to check if this is true or this is true. If one of these two are true, the entire statement is true. Why are the quotations wrong? This one? Well, is A equal to, is the string, is this equal to X? Are they equal? How? Is letter A equal, is it letter A the same letter as the letter X? Yep. See here how without the quotations, it's referencing X, A as a variable and X as a variable? But here we have quotations, right? As Marilyn is saying in the chat. With quotations, this means the string A, if that's equal to the string X. No worries, no worries. That's why we're having this review session, so you guys can correct your mistakes and learn. Does that make sense though, Alex? Why this is different than this? Okay, no problem, no problem. But here is checking if the variable string A, ABC, if that's equal to X, which is also ABC. And they are. So they're equal. This is not a sad face. Yep. There you go. That's this part. And because this is false. Nice. This is false. But this is true. Right? We saw it's true. So that means since this is or, it needed only one of these two to be true. And since one was true, we do the statement, which is R++. So R goes from 15 to 16. And afterwards, we print out R, which means you print out 16. Okay? Everyone good with that? Once again, I'll take the silence as a yes. If it was plus plus R, would it print 15? No. Because if you see here, if this was plus plus R here, that would matter. Like this is R plus plus versus plus plus R. That matters because in the C out. But because here, this is a whole other statement, right? Let's just go over that. So if it was A equals, yeah, that would be true. That's correct, Alex. R plus plus, it does whatever actions with R, and then it increases it by 1. Plus plus R does whatever, first increases it by 1, and then does whatever action with R. Right? Sorry. So if we were to like see out, this is like a completely, this is tangent, this is not related to this question. But got almond stuck in my throat. If we were to do, if we see out R plus plus, right? This would give us 16, not 16, 15, because first it prints the R and then it increases it by 1. Whereas if we did C out plus plus R, it would first increase it by 1 and then do the action related to that. So that would print out 16. And that's a difference. This is like, this is not related to this question though. So, but here, since it like this isn't not related to the C out, it would only print out, it would print out 16 because it's adding 1 and then it prints out 16. That makes sense? To whoever asked it. Makes sense. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oops. I'm good. All right, so now this would print out 16. And then this. If not, P mod 2 is, what does the sign mean, the exclamation point? The exclamation point means not. So it's got a bit of a addition to our thing. Not, that means, let's just not A. Seems not A. Sit. So here, Well, these, well, the not you have to use with Booleans. These are all for Booleans. Let me put that here. Boolean only. All right. These are like operators with Booleans. All right. So and is like the two and% signs are and, the two vertical lines are or. The exclamation point is not. All right. But then what do we do here? Let's write this out. Not P mod 2 less than Q mod 2. This would mean not P mod 2. That's a P mod 2 less than Q Q mod 2. Damn it, Almonds. Killing me. This not would negate this statement. So this is opposite. So not less than is greater than. So this means P mod 2 is greater than or equal to. Wait, let's quickly draw it out. If we have some number, x is less than 15, the opposite of this would be that number is greater than or equal to 15, right? Because if a number is not in this, it has to be in this. So 15 is not in this. So 15 has to be in this. So it has to be greater than or equal to. This non-operator changes it from yes. So basically, well, reverse. So basically, since it's less than, it changes it to a greater than or equal to. Okay. So this reverses. And you have to have the equal sign because it's greater than or equal to. This is less than, strictly less than. So you have to have the greater than or equal to. And we have Q mod 2. All right, so this is our final thing. P mod 2 is greater than or equal to Q mod 2. So what's P mod 2? P mod 2 is 1, right? 31 is an odd number, so mod 2 is just 1. 31. Yep. 31 divided by 2. You got, let's do that here. A bit of math. 31 divided by 2. You get 1 minus 2. 1. Bring down the 1. 5 minus 10. 1. This is our remainder. So 31 mod 2 is 1. But in general, if it's an odd number, any odd number mod 2 is just 1. Even number mod 2 is always 0. And then 23 mod 2 is also going to be 1. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about this? They're both. So now P mod 2 is 1. Q mod 2 is also 1. Is 1 greater than or equal to 1? Yep. So we see out, we don't do that. Yes, so this is going to be see out. This is going to print out no. No. There you go. This is correct, I believe, right? Pretty sure it's correct. Oh yeah, print out no. And then next line. While P is less than or equal to P R. Okay. Well, feel free to ask it in the chat and we'll get to it afterwards. But so while P is less than R, P plus plus. Well, is P less than R? Question for the chat. P less than R. We're gonna get user engagement in this review session. Is P less than R? Is 31 less than 16? Nope. More than one person. I must make sure all of you know this. Thank you. It is not. So we ignore this. This is ignored. Pretty bad. Direct message is insane. Sorry, I didn't want to call anyone. Okay, we'll do that in a bit. Well, P less than R, P plus plus. Well, P is not less than R. 31 is not less than 16. So we ignore this. So then we see out P. And then what is P? P is 31. And we won't, so this dash N How can you? The recording will be available. I mentioned this before. You might, pretty sure you'll get an email about the recording. I'm out of almonds, damn it. But it'll also be available on the QC Learning Commons website before we end today. We'll show you guys the website where it's going to be on. Can you tell like if P would be less than R, what would be the output? Well, we'll do that in a bit, but just quickly, this -n, if I'm not mistaken, just means next line. So it won't actually print out -n. All right, it's gonna, if anything, this is just gonna be 31. This -n is kind of like the end line here. They're equal, and that they would just make the cursor go to the next line. All right. So if P would be less than R, what the output would be? Well, let's see. If P is like, they're giving me like 11, right? 11 is less than R. R is 16 here. 11 is less than 16. Yep. So basically, it would keep doing this because it's a while loop. Where's this? It's a while loop. While this statement is true, it'll keep running. So what does it do? P is 11. R is 16. Is 11 less than 16? Yep. So it increases P by 1. So P is now 12. 12 less than 16? Yep. So it's 13. 13 less than 16? Yep. 14. Is 14 less than 16? Yes. So then it becomes 15. Is 15 less than 16? Yep. So then it becomes 16. Is 16 less than 16? No. So it breaks out and then it would print out 16. So in essence, it would just basically print out whatever R is. But that's if P was less than, since P is 31, R is 16, it skips this while loop since 31 is not less than 16. So print out 31. Right, does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions about this? So the question that was asked in the, can we go loops? Sure. But let's quickly answer that question that you brought up. It's like side question here, blue here. If it says to remove the last digit or first digit, what would we use? So last digit is easy. Last digit, if I have 1, 2, 3. Right. 1, 2, 3. If I want to remove the last digit, that's easy. Just divide by 10. So n divide by 10. This, I should write it out in text. That's going to be easier. Very good, very good. N divided by 10. This will remove the last digit, okay? And mod 10, this always returns the last digit. If we want the first digit, however, that's a bit more complicated. That would require a loop. All right, so basically we have to loop through. How do you just? It's a bit more complicated. You would have, this is n, you would have to declare a new variable, let's say n2, right? While it's greater than 10, you add this. It's a bit complicated, but basically, I don't want to confuse you guys. It's like maybe a little sneak peek into the loop. If we have int n2, right? That equals 0, while n is greater than 10, n2 plus equals n2 times 10 plus n mod 10. And this would basically this would remove first digit. But can't we do C out for that? What do you mean by C out? What do you mean C out for that? Let me show this. Can we move on to loops, please? Sure. Let me just any other questions? Anyone have any other questions about this? Be patient, everyone. We're gonna have to go. Everyone has questions. Waiting. And C out. Digit 2. Initialize the digits mean, can you do line A for the next one? Sure, we'll do line A for this one. Just in case. Got you. Initialize the digits and then see out digit 1, digit 2. Problem. I am not sure what you mean by, are you talking about like do each digit. So like digit 1. So digit 1 equals 1. Digit 2 equals 2. Like this. You could. I mean, yeah. But like I'm just saying in general, if you're given any n, this is like any n. You don't know how long it is. Right? This is just for any n, regardless of the length. So I get what you're saying. Like you could just create each digit, initialize a new digit variable for each one. But in general, like you could just do it like this either. If you're just given a random n, right? So like if I give you 1, 2, 3, 4, and I told you remove 4, right? You would do n divided by 10. If I gave you 1, 2, 3, 4, and I told you no, and I told you remove 1, then this is something you could do to remove the 1. Does that make sense? Yeah, I get what you're saying. You could just declare a new variable for each digit, but this is just saying like if you're given any n, regardless of its length, how do you just remove it? And you could like create new variables for each digit, but n divide equals 10. Yeah, so basically n divide equals 10. Nope, sorry. Let's do it here. N divide equals 10. This is basically the same thing as n equals n divided by 10. Right, it's just all one action. Right. But this is just in general, n divided by 10 removes the last digit. If you always divide by 10, you always remove the last digit. Okay. So let's quickly do A for this question as requested by Alex. So let's do this. Okay. P is 11, Q is 13, R is 15. String A, that's 1 again. Okay, the A, let's keep track of this. A is the string just X, and string X is the string with 2 X's, right? So this is string X, this is string A. Here, if A equals X, C out P, else C out Q. Well, does X, because see here, there's no quotation marks. So this is talking about the variable A. If the variable A is equal to the variable X, then do this. Otherwise, do this. So does string A, do these two strings, are they equal? Once again, user engagement. No, no, no. Okay, okay, okay. Very nice. They're not equal. They're not equal. So this is false. Okay. And because it's false, we don't do the if, we do the else. So then we see out Q. Q is 13, so this prints out 13. Okay. Is that good? I think Alex, you asked this question. Is this good? Do you understand this part? Can you do line C too? Sure, we'll do line C, and then if no one has any other questions, we'll go on to loops. So, okay. If A equals X, well, we just saw here, A does not equal X, so this is false, right? Or the string A equals the string X. Once more, does A equal X? In this case, the string A? No, these are not equal, right? These are not equal. These are not equal. It's a little dancing X. But yeah, it's not equal. So what does that mean? That means we do not carry out this action. So this does not carry out. And when we see out R is 15, we don't change it. So this just prints out 15. Okay? Did that make sense? All good with this? All good? Okay. All right. So for all good for short program answers, let's do loops. I'll do maybe 1 or 2 loop questions, and then we'll move on to Mike taking over the show. But let's do this. Okay. So does anyone have any particular loop question that they want to do, or should we just choose a random one? Random. Random meaning any of them? Do we have spin the wheel? We should get a spin the wheel, Mike. That's a good recommendation. What do you mean by does that mean impossible ones? But yeah, we should get I'm seriously gonna consider that. Okay, then that's gonna be considered. Next review session, you guys are gonna see a random wheel, spin the wheel. Got it. Okay. Important ones, well, most of them are pretty much the same, but let's do the first few. Sorry, I just got a scam call. So write a C program that uses a C++ function to generate a number n between 1,000 and 2,000, and prints all out all is a typo. Prints out all integers between 1 and n, that's square, to a number ending in 61. What? Write a program that uses a C++ function to generate a number n between 1,000 and 2,000, and then print out. Okay, you guys didn't learn generating numbers? Okay, we're gonna see this one. Okay. Don't be scared for the exam. Yeah, this exam shouldn't be. This won't be bad. Don't worry, guys. Closing everyone. This exam will do pretty good, pretty good. Let's do this one. Write a complete C++ program that asks the user to type an integer n. Should then ask the user to enter n more numbers and print the average of these numbers. Partial credit will be given for those programs. They could blah, 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 blah. Or complicated programs will lose credit. Okay, do not overcomplicate your programs. Okay. So let's do this. Ooh, I lost the chat. No. Okay, we got it. So once more, always remember the starting for, you have to write this out, but I'm typing out here. Hashtag include IO stream using namespace standard. Yes, if you joined recently and you didn't fill out the attendance form, please fill that out. Or if you need to leave early, please fill out the feedback form. It's good that we know like how to improve our next ones. It's like in the next review session, if you want me to not eat almonds, that'll be good to know. That'll be good to know. But anyways, int main return 0. Showing. Okay. It should then ask the user to enter n more numbers and print the average of these numbers. Okay, let's first do the ask the user to type an integer n. Okay, so let's have int n. That's what we have to do. If you leave early, just please fill out the feedback form. I think Mike sent it right there. If you see the feedback form, please fill that out just so that we know next review session how do we improve it. Some things you guys might like, you guys don't like. Maybe if you want to do this at a different time, etc. That'll be helpful to know. So yeah. Int n, so let's do this. Once again, for these types of questions, always look at the test code he gives. This is very helpful. This just tells you what to give. So he first says enter an integer. Right, so let's just copy what he says. Cout, enter an integer. Right. And you see in n. And for here, we're going to assume they put a positive integer, so that's good. And then we have to ask the user to enter n more numbers and print the average of these numbers. See here how we know how many times we have to ask a user something? That's the cue that's the cue where you have to use a for loop, right? Whenever you don't know how long it takes for a user to like do something, that's when you use a while loop. But here, since we know to enter n more numbers, right? Then we have to use a for loop. So let's do this. And let's start at 0. Once again, you can start at 1. If you start at 0, you got to go up until less than n. If you started at 1, you would have to go less than or equal to n. Let's start at 0 here. It doesn't really matter. N I plus plus. Okay. And here we're going to have then ask the user to enter n more numbers and put the average of these numbers. Average of these numbers. Okay, so whenever an average, remember the average could be an integer or it could be a double, but more and more cases, it's most likely a double. Okay, so here this is 6.5, this is 8. So you want to always like keep track of the case where there could be double, where there could be an int. So just for the sake, we're going to have a double sum instead of equal to 0. This is where we're going to keep the sum, right? And then every time we answer it, we do cout. Let's do this outside. I think it only asks it once. So do cout, enter. Oops. Enter n. Now enter n more numbers. Okay. So then we're going to have that was also declare another variable for the input. And input. All right, so then how does this help us? And so cout, we just do cin input, and we could do sum plus equals input. Okay. Okay, so then what this does is it loops through n times, and it keeps taking an input. So this is where you get the 5, 6, 7, 8. See how we only ask this line once? So that's why it's out. What is sum plus? Oh yeah, okay. So let's do the sum equals sum plus input. All right, so basically you're taking the sum and we're adding the input each time. So we keep adding it. This is, if you want to write it in shorthand, this is the same thing as sum plus equals input. Was the program wrong? Okay, this is a good question. In this question itself, we assume they enter a correct input because we only assume otherwise when the question explicitly asks if the user enters an invalid input, then do XYZ, right? But because here it doesn't say anything about the user's first input of n, we don't really care about. We always assume they enter a correct integer, right? If it was like something that said here that if the user enters a a negative integer, terminate the program, then we would have to include something like this, like this is like if n is less than or equal to say 0, right? Then we just return 0, right? This is if user inputs non-positive integer, right? Terminate. But here, because they don't say anything like that, we just assume that we don't really care. We assume that the user will always enter a correct input, right? And if you think about like questions to ask during the exam, that would be a good question to ask. Like ask the professor or the lab professor, do we assume the user will always enter a correct, like a good integer, right? In that case, they will say, okay. And yeah, sum equals sum plus input. You're just adding input to the sum and setting that equal to sum. That you could just rewrite as sum plus equals input. This just updates the sum value. Okay. Does anyone have any questions so far? No problem, no problem. No questions so far. In that case, afterwards, we're pretty much done because now we have the sum, and now we just got to print out the average. So how do we get the average? We do cout. Do not do system out. That's Java again. Cout sum divided by n. Oh, sorry. Never mind. This we have a word defined before it. Their average is sum divided by n. Right? And because this is a double, if you remember your double, ints, and all those operations, a double divided by an integer is always going to return a double. Any operations with doubles will always return doubles. So this is going to return a double, not an int. Right? If this was declared as an int, right? Then why that's incorrect is because this, in this situation, this first example, this would not return a 6.5. This would instead return 6, just 6. Ints don't have any decimals. So in that case, you always have to do double sum. Okay. In this case, so you could do it in different ways. Like you could typecast it, but I'm not gonna like confuse you guys. This is like the simplest way you could do it. So yeah, that's pretty much the code. Does anyone have any questions? Any at all about this question? Question. Okay, you have a question. Alex, I give you the feel free to ask your question. If it takes too long to type, if you want, you could feel free to like unmute. Right? You can unmute if you want to unmute to ask a question. What is sum plus equals? Can you go over the statement, the for statement and sum? Sure, okay, let's go over. Let's do this. Okay. So this for loop right here, it's basically saying, so see here how in the question it says you should then ask the user to enter n more numbers and print the average of these numbers. Well, so this for loop, because we have to ask n more times, right? That's why we go from 0 to less than n. Right? Or you could also do 1 less than or equal to n, and that works, right? So this is asking the user n more times, right? Or taking in n more inputs, right? And this sum plus equals input, this basically means this. They're the same thing. It's just in programming, instead of having to type out, like when you become like a pro programmer, and you'll see like in the later classes like 200s, 300s, or even when you get a job as a software engineer, and programmers will do anything to lower the amount of code they write. So that's why in order to, and they'll think of shortcuts. So this is a shortcut of writing this, because here we have to repeat sum. So we just say sum plus equals input. Well, we here, let me just delete this. Here you can just say this, sum equals in sum plus input. So let's use an example here. So we got sum is declared as 0. We have these inputs. So when we enter a 5, it'll take sum. So this is sum, right? So it's going to set it as whatever sum was, 0, then the input, plus 5. Next input, so now sum is now 5. And then we do this. So sum is going to be equal to 5 plus the next input, which is 6. That's 11, right? Next input, we got 7. So right now the sum is 11 plus 7 is 18. Okay. And then we have 8. So sum is going to be 18 plus, yes, 18 plus 8, which is 26, right? So then this is what this statement's doing. So that's that, right? But in like later on, you'll see this where in coding, if you want to like just write this in like shorter code, you can just say, and like I said, don't if you don't want to write like this on your exam, don't feel free to like write it how you understand it. But like a shortcut is just saying sum plus equals input, and it's doing the exact same thing. It's doing the exact same thing here. This is the exact same thing here. It's just a shorter way of typing it out. Right, but you could use either way. I would prefer, if anything, use this way, just to like, because you guys are understanding this more. Don't use this way. Once again, if Professor Akinlar sees you guys taking answers from me, he's going to personally get me quit. He's gonna fire me from this job. But so stick with what you guys are comfortable. I don't know what Professor Akinlar went over in these exams, but do what's comfortable for you. Does that make sense? Rachel, Miriam, that I think Alex asked a question as well. Does that all make sense? Yes, yes, yes. Alex, I'm waiting for Alex from you. Yes, from you. Alex, does that make sense? Where are you, Alex? Alex, what are you confused on? No problem, no problem. Talk to me, Alex. I'm here to help you. What are you confused on? Once again, if you feel like you're running out too much and you don't want to take too much time, feel free to like just the sum. So what about the sum? Are you confused? Are you confused about this portion? Or is this part? If this is confusing you guys, just like I'll take it out. You know what? I'll take it out. Are you confused on needing longer sessions? Well, if you fill the feedback form, you could request longer sessions. Hey, it works for me and Mike. We get paid for longer hours. It's a win-win. Are you confused on this portion, Alex? Okay. So this, what is this part doing? We have to have a sum variable that keeps track of the total of all these numbers. How do you find the average of numbers? You need, like, if you have x1 up until xn, how do you find the average of this? This is going to be x1 plus dot 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 xn, and you take divided by n, right? We have n, so this is n. We need this. So that's why you have to have a sum variable to keep track of all of their, like, their total sum. X plus x1 plus dot 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 plus xn. And then how does this help? Well, every time we take an input, we want to add that input to the sum, right? So that's why we have a sum equals sum plus input, right? This is basically taking whatever the sum was, we're adding whatever the input is. So if you look at this example, the first input's 5, so it's taking the sum, which is initially 0, and adding 5s to it. So then it sets that equal to sum, so now s is equal to 5. So 5. And then we see a 6, so it takes the sum and it adds a 6 to it. Sum goes from 5 plus 6, which is 11. We see a 7. It takes the sum, which is 11 currently, and it adds 7. That's 18. So then this is our new sum. Okay? You get it now? Okay. Maybe just needed a bit of. Right? No problem, no problem. So is everyone good with this question? Everyone good with this question? I'm taking at least 4 yeses or at least 4 nos before I move on. So the longer you guys take, the longer it's gonna. That's 1. That's 2. I'll take that as a yes. Sure. Okay. Now we're chilling. We're chilling. Okay. In that case, my throat is parched, so I'm gonna hand it over to my good buddy Mike. 10 times smarter than I am, but
No, no, no.
he is. He is. Don't let him fool you guys. He is way smarter than me. But yeah, I'll hand it over to him. If you guys want to continue working on loops, or you guys want to work on something different, feel free to say it in the chat. Or you could, once again, if you raise your hand, you could ask. But I'll still be in the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat, so don't do any naughty business. I'll still be here. I'll be watching the chat. And yeah, I'll give it to Mike.
Okay. Does anyone see the screen? Can you hear me well? My voice too low or too high? Fine. I don't know. Okay. Okay. What about now? Is it too low? Is it okay? It's better. Okay. I will a little bit speak up a little bit more. Okay. So, so the can't hear you properly. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Uh,
About now? Oh, hello. What about now? Is it better? Yeah, a lot better, right? Okay, okay. Good, good. So, for the link that I sent, the first link is the learning command link. You can get the recording there. And also, I sent you the new plot, code for our server. So I will post it, our notes. And if I have the recording before they post it on the website, I will try to post in the server. You can go to 111 chat. I will try to post it there if I can get the recording. Okay. Okay. Also, don't forget to fill out the feedback form too. All right. Okay. So I want to do the nested loop problem again. Okay. All right. What problem shall we do? Let's see. Okay. Do you guys want to do number 17? Or do you have like any other specific problem? Or if not, I will just do 17. We do not necessarily. Okay. Okay. 208. This is a short answer. Okay. Okay. So in that case, I will just I will just explain the quick answer. So I won't use too much time on here, since like this is not the only problem that you will see. So I will just give you the answer and I will just explain the answer. Okay, so so for this question, for this type of 208 question, do you guys just still see the screen? Okay, so for this one, so this is, let's look at this code. Okay, I will just explain in speed. All right, so when you look at this code, so as you see, this R mean we loop through, iterate row by row, and this C mean we loop through the column. And in the test, but like there's very low chance that he might ask like this, but like if he asks, if you see like two picture like side by side, just only think about the first side. Just only think about the first side. Okay. Just only think about the first side. Try to come up with the condition. So this first side, and try to come up with the condition. Okay. And then just put another loop in between. Okay. For this type of question. So you know how to do it. Let's say if you know how to do it, if you can find a condition there, you put another loop. So this we print to diagram. So you loop through 2 times, and that's it. You don't need to worry about anything. Okay. What copy? Just copy. I mean, this can be anything. This can be anything. It doesn't need to copy. It can be like k, or it can be something. It's just variable. Because I want to, here start from 1 up to 2. Up to 2 mean I want to print out 2 things, 1 thing and 2 things. Okay, that is why. All right, so okay, I don't want to waste too much time on the diagram. Okay, so let's do the. Can you write the whole code? Would include. Okay. Let me see. So this is. I will show the answer. So this will be the answer for that problem. Oopsie. All right, so this will be the answer for this problem. I don't want to waste too much time on this. So let's do the problem that we haven't done. Do the topics, let's say. Okay, I think we haven't done short answer question. Do we include CMAT 2 for the nested loop? No, you don't need to. You don't need to worry about CMAT. I don't think you need to use CMAT in this exam yet. Yeah. There's only for yeah. All right. So for the short question, what question do you want to do for this short answer question? Any problem or just random problem? Okay. 17. All right. All right, let's do this one. So write a C++ statements that statement to carry out the following task. Do not write complete program. Just give a few line of C++ code. No answer can be used more than 2 lines. Assume that in integer variable x, y, and z have been declared and have legal values. Okay, you've declared here. The first line, you need to print the z copy of hello world. The z copy of the word hello. Make each copy on its own line of the output. Okay, so let's do this. So z copy of the word hello means z copy means you need to iterate z time. So it'll be 4 and I equal 1, I less than or equal to z, and then I plus plus, and then I want to print the out hello, and then I add endl. The reason why I add endl is it says make each copy on its own line of output. So each own line of output is you need to print line by line. So every time you print one thing, you need to go to next line, next line, next line. You need to print z time. Okay, sounds good. All right. Next one is print the integer. Why use 4? We use 4. Why we use 4? Because we want to print out z copy. Let's say z is 3. We need to print 3 times. It is 4, we need to print 4 times. But we don't know how much time it is. But what we know is we need to print z amount of time, which means we want to iterate, we want to like how would I say? It is a repeating text. Okay, since it's a repeating text, you don't need to like see out 3 times, 3 times, 3 times. No, because we don't know how many times it is. So we use the for loop and loop through it. So 1 to z. If z is 3, we'll loop 3 times, which means we will print 3 hello. Because we need z copy of the word hello. Okay, and when we use while, so we use while. I mean, you can use while loop here too. But most of the time, if you know when you need to end, okay, let's say, if you know when you need to end, use for loop. And if you don't know when you need to end, use while. This is like a general information, but you can use either of them. It doesn't matter. You can use any way. But like this is like a general information. If you are confused about like when you need to use, but usually you can use either way. Do you want me to show about how to use the why in this question, or is it fine? Okay, I take that as a okay. All right, so let's move to number B. Okay, so you need to print the integer quotient that is found when y is divided by z. Okay, this time, let me actually, I want to print c out because it said print, and then we need to find the quotient y1 y divided by z. So what do I need to write here? Module, okay, okay. Okay, I think it's a quotient. Yes, since this is a quotient, you don't need to use the modular sign. So let's write here. Modular sign is for remainder, and the divide sign is for quotient. I think it is in Asian, the quotation is quotation. I think it's in quotation, the quotient is. What do you mean? But like, okay. So again, for the quotient, don't use the modular sign. Modular sign is for the remainder, and then the divide sign to find the quotient, you need to use the slash. So it will be y slash z. Oh, I see what you mean. Yes. You can add. Yeah, you can add, or you don't need to add. It doesn't matter because like the question doesn't say anything about that. So yeah, you can add if you want, or you can just leave this. You will get the full credit. Okay. So let's go number C. So print the exact value for exact value of 1 equal this 1 equal y x y z. Print the exact value of 1 equal x y and z. Huh. I think the question is a little bit wrong here. I think it need to be Boolean. Uh, 70. Okay. Oh, sorry. So this question, this need to be like this. The question is exact value of 1 divided by the x time, 1 divided by x, y, and z. Okay. So this is like, you can ignore that. Let's solve this kind of problem here. So you need to print C out. I want to print the exact value, okay, of 1 divided by x times y times z. Okay. If I just write 1 divided by x times y times z, do you think this will be the correct answer? No. No, okay. Why? Why it is wrong? Should be 1.0. Okay, there is one correct answer. Because if you just divide and multiply integer value, you will get integer value, which you won't get the exact value. Okay, because that is just a math with no value. Huh. Just a math, no value. I mean, you can get the value if you calculate. use of double. You don't need to use double because like you can just use 1.0 to print the double value, but it won't show the value right. Yes, it won't show the value right, correct? So if you just put 1.0, or if you just like multiplying by 1.0, or the same thing, because like if you don't put 1.0, it will just print integer. So you can think of this 1.0 as a like double casting value. Okay. So is this correct now? What do you think? Okay, let me change the question here. It should be like this. Okay, so I don't understand the question. Okay, so let's repeat the question again. So print the exact value of this mathematical expression. Okay, this mathematical expression. I want to print the exact value of this mathematical expression. Do we need to put, yes, correct. Here, we need to put the parentheses here. Okay, that's it. So this will be the correct answer. Okay. Like in the math, it will be like 1 over x, y, and z. Okay. Right. So let's look at another question. Change z. We need to modify the z. Why we use double? Because we want the exact value. That's a good question. Let's say x, let's say 1 divided by x is 2 times 2 times 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. So 1 divided by 12 is, you will get 0. Because integer divided by integer, the answer is integer. And we don't want that. We want the exact value. To get the exact value, you need to divide 1.0 over 12. Okay, that is why we use the double and we change the integer to like decimal value so that the answer will be double. So here is integer divided by integer. You will get the answer will be integer. Double divided by integer, or integer divided by double. You will get double. Or double divided by double is double. Okay. I hope this will make it clear. All right, so change the z so that it stores the quotient of y by x. Okay. All right, so let me ask you again. So this is the easy question. So change the z value. So we want to put the value into the z. Okay. So z equal to the quotient of y by x means y divided by x. Okay. However, yeah, so y divided by x. Here, you might ask, wait, why don't I change? Okay, why don't I change to double here? Because like the question doesn't mention about that. And also, z is an integer, so z cannot receive the double value. Okay. Okay. So this is like if statement if x is less than equal to y. Okay, Alice, question. Yeah, it is easy. Yeah. Don't be too nervous about the exam. Okay, let's look at number E. So if x is less than or equal to y, Yes, it's Boolean. Yeah, x equals less than y, less than or equal z. Then print x, otherwise z. So this is clearly this is statement. If here this is true, do this. If this is true, like do this or else. So you want to put the condition here. Okay. So let me ask you, how should I write this condition? Let me write down a little bit. So if I write about x less than equal y less than equal z, do you think this is correct or this is wrong? What do you think? Can we write like this in the if condition? Okay. Is it true or false? Someone give me the answer, but like the answer is not completely correct yet. Do you think this is okay or this is wrong? Any idea? What do you think, guys? Is this correct or not? You need to use the or, okay. 50% or, okay. So in this case, so x is must be less than, yes, there you go. We need to use an operator, okay? We use an operator to split this. So x less than equal y and y need to be less than z. Because in the if condition, it doesn't receive like 3 statements. It can only check 2 at a time. So you need to connect with the and. Why we use and? So we use and because it's like how can I say? Because like y need to be in between x and z. That is why. If you use the or, what if like x is great, like y is greater than x, but like y is also greater than what z, so this is wrong. Y need to be less than z. That is why when you see like this condition, you need to connect with the and statement. Okay, so and then if this is true, you just see out x, and otherwise else see out the z. I don't get it. Which part? You don't get it. The entire question. Okay, so let's see this again. If x is less than y, and then y is less than z, y less than or equal z, you need to print x. Otherwise, you need to print z. Okay, so that is the question. Man, you need to check if this condition is true, do this. Otherwise, do this. Okay, so do we use the curly bracket? Yes, you can use that. So I just do the easy way. So you can put parentheses here. Because I don't put parentheses because it is just one line of code. That's why. But like, yeah, put the parentheses. What if we had to print z instead of x? You can, if so, you can just change z here and change x here. That's it. You don't need to worry about too much. So this is true. do this. Print this. Print X is X. Oh, print Z is Z. Okay. Any question? So no. I mean the question will specify. If in your case, like the question will be like this, it's not dumb question, like question will be like this. If there's a question, your answer is correct. But like in this type of question, no. Like you only need to do this way. Yes, we need to use curly bracket. Yes. You need to use it. Yes. You can use a loop Q anywhere we also have to solve as else. Okay. If we had to do otherwise, what do Z otherwise? Yeah. Yes, correct. Yes. So if this is that, C out Z and then C out X. Okay. I think we haven't done any if condition question. Do you guys have like if else condition? Because I think like there will be some question about if else. Another question from the if else condition. I mean, where is the if else? Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's see. How many questions are there? 49. Check question 5. Okay. All right, let's do the question 5. Okay, so write C++ program that asks the user to type two positive integer. It should show only the horizontal bar of X symbol whose length is given by the shorter of the two integer. If the two integers are equal, either can be used as a shorter. Then blah blah blah. So for example, enter two positive integer, and then you check which one is less than. 2 is less than, so print 2x. You check two integer, which is less than, 4 is less than, so you print 4x. Okay. Okay. So let me just do include IO friend username space std and main return 0. Okay, so first, when the question asks enter two positive integer, so what do you need to do first? When you see like enter something. Okay, so see out, okay, see out, and then enter two positive integers. Okay, and then so to receive the input, first you need to declare variable. Yeah, cin, yes, but before you cin, you
I think my microphone is a little bit not so good right now. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yep, we could hear you.
Okay, okay. All right, good. All right, so let's continue. All right. So do you understand this part? I just declare two variable and receive the two integer value. Everyone get it here so far? Yes, okay. And then, okay, I want to check which one is shorter. So how can I check? Which number is shorter than the other? Declare num1 to be shorter. Okay, that is a good strategy. First, you need to declare a variable, let's say shorter, and then let's say num1 is shorter. Okay, and then if oh my, if num2 is less than shorter, you put shorter equal num2. Do you guys understand what I just did here? So first, I declare a shorter, a new variable. So this will store a number who is shorter. And I put the num1 first. Let's assume that, okay, we don't know yet. Let's assume that num1 is shorter. And then we check again. What if the num2 is shorter than num1? So num2 is shorter than num1. If num2 is less than shorter, put num2 in a shorter. Why can't we do num2 greater than num1? Okay, that is another strategy. So this is one way you can solve it. I mean, it was a question. You can just read it. We are the halfway there. Okay, so the question is that you access user two number and choose one number that is shorter than the other number, and then print out the times of x of that number. So this is one way to solve. Another way to solve is, I'll put it here. Another way to solve is you set first you declare a shorter variable, and then you check if num1 is less than num2, which means num1 is shorter equal num1, and else shorter equal num2. Either the answer are correct. Okay, you can do like this or you can do like this. Both way are the same. Okay. I mean, Alex, do you understand the question that you need to choose one number, and is here is 2, you need to print 2x. And here 4 and 5, 4 less than 5, so you need to print the 4x. Everyone good? Any question? Yes. Then CLX. No. If you just then CLX, that will be 1x. So we want to print the the shorter copies of x. So how can we do that? That's right here. Can we review step by step the answer? Okay. Let me finish first, okay? And then I will talk about the problem again. I will review the answer again, okay? Let me finish it first. So, okay. So to do that, we want to print the
the shorter copy of x. So I is 1, I less than or equal to shorter, then I plus plus. Okay, and then see out, just print the x. And then that's it. So you put this code in here. Let me just try to put it. Just try to put it. I think this was good. Okay. Okay, let me review step by step. So the question is, ask the user to positive integer. Okay. So you ask the user, see out, enter to positive integer. The user will enter to positive integer. And then the question set is here. It should show a horizontal bar of x symbol, whose length is given by the shorter of the two integer. Okay. If the two integers are equal, either can be used as a shorter. So you need to find which number is shorter. And there are two ways to do it. One way is you can just declare. Okay, let's explain this first. One way is first declare a shorter variable. Okay, and then you check if num1 is less than 2, which num1 is shorter than num2. If it is, put num1 into the shorter. Otherwise, put num2 into the shorter. Otherwise, num2 must be less than num1. Or you can do another way here, which is first you assume that num1 is shorter. So put the num1 into the shorter. And then you check what if num2 is shorter than the num1. So if num2 is shorter than the shorter, put num2 into the shorter. After you get the shorter value, okay, you print the x time. So let's use this example, okay? So user will enter the num1 is 4, num2 is 2. I put the num1 is 4, so the shorter is 4 now, okay? And then I check, is it 4 is it 2 is less than 4? That is true. So I put the values of num2 to the shorter, which means the shorter became 2. So there's 2 here, and then it will loop through, it will iterate, and it will print x 2 times. Does that make sense? Or do you have any question? No. Good. Okay. Is it okay? All right. Any question? Can we solve another like this? Okay, this is the same. Okay, let's look at this. Do you guys learn while loop? Loop and if else. I mean, yeah. Okay. If you combine like loop and if else, like you get while loop sometimes. So have you learned while loop? I think you guys have learned while loop, right? Um, we have, okay. I think we can go over this one. Um, You guys want to do this one? I mean, this is a good question, in my opinion. Okay, let's do this. So, okay, so you need to write a C++ program as a user to type a bigger integer. So first, as a user, to type the bigger integer n, it should x 4 times. Okay, it should x 4 times. And then 4 times to type the user, to type a user and a smaller value of n, then terminate the program. Okay. However, if the user ever enter a value that is not smaller, it should immediately say goodbye and terminate the program. Okay, I think we don't have time to do another nested loop. So let's just do this and wrap things up. So I don't write include IO string. I was just main, but you all know how to do it. So let's do main. Okay. So in the main, this time let's use should we use while loop? Let's think about it. I mean, you don't need to use while loop. Sorry, you don't need to use while loop. So in this case, let's say we need to use n to receive the integer. We need to ask the user 4 times. For let's use y. Whatever. Never mind. Let's use y. I is equal to 1, and then y I is less than or equal to 4. Okay, and then here I plus plus. So in the while loop, we ask the user. So see out. Oh, wait. Before we loop through it, first thing first, we want to ask the user, see out, type a big integer n. Okay, we type a big integer n, and then see in, ask the user n. And then you need to loop 4 times, and we need another variable. Okay. So let's say in temp n, no, I'll use it. Okay, so now we need another variable to compare the previous value. So if see out, then ask the users type a smaller value of n, and then see in temp. Temp mean it's another variable. It's just another variable. It can be anything. I just use the temp for like a temporary variable. Okay. 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 So and then let's check if temp is greater than or equal to n. So because like the temp need to be less than n, so we only want the smaller value. But like, what if it is the temp is greater than or equal? What is the like bigger? We set C out goodbye, and then we terminate the program, return 0. Okay. Otherwise, you don't need to do anything. Otherwise, you just keep looping. Okay. Otherwise, you just keep do the loop. Okay. So let's go over again. So first, ask the user to track a big integer. You ask the user as a big integer. And this is done. And then you use 4 times to enter a smaller value. Okay. So, and then you ask the user 4 times. So see out this. And then you ask the user temp again and again. And then you check if it's greater than or equal to n, you print goodbye. Okay. Why we use plus plus? Because we need to increment the I. Otherwise, this will be infinite loop. So first, I is 1, and then it goes, and 1 is here, I is 2. And it goes here, and then I is 3. It goes here, I is 4. Yes, you can just use for loop. This is like another way to solve the problem. You can just literally use the for loop. It is the same. It is your personal choice. Okay, so you keep asking 4 times, and when you see this variable is equal or another value is greater, you just see out goodbye and then end the program. End the program means just return 0. If you use the while loop, then I++ should be added at the end. Yes, when you use the while loop, I++ need to add in the end. Okay, sounds good. Not smaller. Okay, let's think about this. Let's say n is less than 10. So if, as long as that, no, this is wrong. What am I doing? The temp is less than the n. Okay. Oh no. Wait, I am wrong. Wait a second. You need to keep track the previous value. So you need to update the value. Let's see. Okay. Need to add one thing here. N is equal to 10. Yeah. N is equal to 10. Okay. Okay, let me explain again. Okay. So first we need to ask the user the temp. So the question is that as long as the next value is smaller, you are okay. Which means, what is the opposite of like n is less than 10? The opposite of n is less than 10 means n need to be, sorry, the opposite of n greater than 10 is n less than or equal to 10. So this is okay condition, and this is not okay. After you check, you need to update the value, and you need to update the n. Okay. So this is how you track of the previous value. So right now n is 100 and the temp is 20, and then I update the n, and then n became 20. Okay, temp is still 20, and then I go here, and I ask the user again. I get the user again. The user will input 10. So n is 20, and temp is 10. So it is still less than. So n temp is 10, and n is 20, which means this condition is not correct. So it won't do this condition, and it goes here, and then it update the value. So you need to update the previous value to the n. Okay, sounds good. Okay, I think I might. Oh, you mean that 10 is not greater than 20? Yes, 10 is not greater than 20, which means you don't need to stop the program. This means this is the condition one, you need to stop the program. Okay. That is why program terminate, yes. As you can see here, if user input 0 and another input is 0, so the temp and n, they are equal. So you need to print out the goodbye and end the program. Yes, that is one the program terminate. They don't understand. Okay. Okay, let me go over one more time. Okay, let me ask you some question. I think, do you understand this part before the while loop? I ask the user type a big integer. Yes, okay, good. And then in the while loop, why I choose 4? Why I choose 4? Why? Because the question set asks 4 times. Okay. Okay, good. And then here I type a smaller value of n. So I type a smaller value of n. And then I get something from the user. I put it in the temp. So I put 20 in the temp value. Okay. So far so good. Okay. And then if the temp is less than equal to n, what is the temp right now? What is the value of the temp? 20. Right now is 20. Okay. Temp is 20. You just ask the user here. And then let's use this example. Okay, let's use this example. The user enter in the temp, the user enter 20. So let's say the temp has 20. Okay, because of the user enter in this example. And n is 100. Okay, you x here. You already x here. Okay. Is 20 greater than or equal to 100? No. So do you need to stop the program? No, you don't need to stop the program. And you go here. So you don't need to stop the program. We need to iterate. Before I explain this, why I do I++, do you get it why I do I++? Okay, if it is, let's look at this line. So you need to keep comparing. First you compare, yes, true repeat, correct. First you compare 120, and then you compare 20 and 10, and then you compare 10 and 2, and then you compare 2 and 1. You see, the numbers are getting smaller and smaller, right? Do you see that? Because like if this number is greater, you need to stop it. But to track the previous value, okay, right now n is 100, temp is 20. If I go to next loop, I want to check this value and this value. So I need to update this value instead of 100. So I do is temp n equal to temp. So I put the values of temp into the n. Now n is 20 and temp is 20. And then I go back to the loop again. I ask the user enter. So it is, I'm right now here. Cin temp. The user entered 10. What is the n right now? And what is the temp right now? Okay, let me ask you, what is the values of temp? What is the value of temp? It is not 20. the user just entered 10. We update the n here. N is 20 right now. Okay. N is right now 20 right now. Why? We updated here. And then temp is 10 because we exit temp here again. Okay. And then you check it is greater or less than. If not, you keep iterating and this for time. Okay. I hope this will help. Okay, since it is 8:30, I need to stop right here. If you still have question, I think if the exam is not on Monday, you can come to the learning comment on Monday from 9 to 5. So we can help you. But right now, since it's 8:30, we gotta stop right now. Okay.
Sounds good. So before everyone leaves, feedback form. Once again, we'll post it in the chat. Yep. So your exam's on Tuesday or Thursday? Not 100% sure. Tuesday. If it is Tuesday, okay. So then Monday all day, 9 to 5. Feel free to make appointments with me, Mike, or anyone else at Learning Commons. We'll help you. Or if it is Tuesday, if it's later in the afternoon, stop by the morning, and then once again, we'll be able to help you. I'm just gonna quickly show you guys one more time where the recording will be. Mike, let me just share my screen real quick. Once more, feel free to what was I gonna say? Sorry. Feel free to fill out the feedback form. Mike, I'm gonna share my screen, so 1 second, just. Okay, thank you. Okay, so once more for everyone, here's Learning Commons website. If you want to find where the videos will be, just go to Learning Commons website, you click on resources, and you'll see CSCI resources right here. For CS111, click down there, and maybe I believe tomorrow you guys will see next to your session, which is this one, you'll see the link to the recording, and once you click it, like this one's for this is for, I think we did for Chin's 111. If you click on it, it'll take you to the YouTube page and to that video. So that's where you'll find the recording. Once more, please fill out the feedback form so me and Mike know how to improve our session next time. I'm going to stop the recording now. And yeah, so Mike, you want to stop the recording? I'm not sure.